All right, well, welcome you back inside the booth, and for our SMU kind of new fans, this one's kind of for you, but also our ACC fan base as well. We have Josh Nash, the senior director of football operations over there at SMU. As this program, Josh, gets ready for some big changes, upcoming this summer. I know you and I were kind of talking beforehand. It's exciting. It's a great time to be in this area, a great time to be a part of what you guys have going on, and just kind of start us off here. How excited are you to kind of see this transition and the behind the scenes of what kind of goes all into this?
Yeah, this has been one of the just most exciting times to be here at SMU. I know SMU has had an extreme exciting history, and going back all the way to the 80s. We're a school with a couple national championships, a Heisman Trophy winner back in the 80s, kind of was one of the meccas of college football. And to go through kind of the death period and the death penalty and some of the stuff that our school and the university and institution had to go through to get back to this point. It's really cool to be a small part of it. And there's just a ton of excitement here, a ton of growth. Dallas is a really interesting city. It's an exciting city. It's a great place to be, especially with college football and where college football is now and where college football is going. We're really excited as an institution and a university to be a part of the ACC, and we kind of see ourselves a part of the conference, and we have a good chance to kind of represent not only our past, our present, but also kind of the future of SMU. And there's just so much excitement with from our donors and our fans to our former players to our current players and our coaching staff to be accepted and invited into the ACC here. So a ton of excitement, ton of growth.
Man, I know we were kind of joking before that this calendar of college football's nuts, and it's a lot of different stuff going on. Sorry about that. We got bad weather. I'll edit that out. But yeah, no, I mean, look, the calendar of college football is crazy. You guys are kind of getting ready to make this transition. You're also working in spring ball. Just kind of walk me through for a lot of people that say, "Hey, I see the title across this guy's page on the bio. I see it on his desk, maybe." But what does a director of football operations do? What is kind of the day to day? And I know that look, any job in sports is other duties as assigned. So kind of walk me through some of the nuances of what you do and how you help this program.
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes I ask myself that question every morning. So by title, I am the Senior Director of Football Operations, but that can mean something totally different every day. If you ask our Director of Video Technology, Devin Cleach, he may say one thing, or head coach may say one thing. My goal in my job, in my role every day, is just to make sure, one, where people know when and where they need to go, and then kind of try and get us to whatever needs to get done. I want to make whatever Coach Rhett Lashley, whatever he wants to get done, it's my job to go out and do it. So if he wants to take the team to the pool, it's my job to make that happen. If we have a team meeting, it's my job to make sure that the team meeting is ready to go, and that our players are there and everything that we need for that meeting to happen. I kind of like to joke to say, hey, every job, big or small. I mean, if that means film and practice one day to making sure that the scripts are right and all that stuff. One of my favorite parts of my job is when I get 128. We have 128 guys on our roster this past fall with walk-ons and all that. I really get to hopefully make an impact in their lives every day and just make sure that those guys know where they're going. Anything that they need, try and make sure that they get and really support not only our student athletes, but our coaches as well. So we wear a ton of different hats, and yes, the calendar is crazy. And just a funny story, when we got accepted into the ACC, it was a Friday, the Friday actually before our first game last year.
Wow.
And I had gotten a text from some of our friends over on the West Coast saying, hey, we're in. And I just remember getting that text to me like, this day is going to be something. It was about 5:45, 6 or something that Friday morning we're driving in, and there's so much excitement. And I was like, hey, we should probably have a meeting real quick with our guys and tell them that, like, hey, this is about to break. But also, more importantly, like, we have a really good team, and we're in the American this year. The American's a really good conference, and our goal is to go win the American Conference Championship, which we got to do as a team. And it was really cool that our guys kind of stayed locked in and focused on that task at hand that year with all the excitement. But going back to your first question, the excitement that our school, that our university has, and really the city of Dallas has to welcome the ACC. It's a great time to be here in Dallas.
You mentioned, you wanted to make an impact on the guys that are on that roster, whether that's on the field, whether that's off the field. At what point did you realize for your own development? I mean, look, anyone can go read your bio and kind of see your history of where you've been, but when did you say, hey, this is what I want to get into? Like, at what point did that click for you and say, hey, I want to be a part of this? It might not be on the playing field, but this is kind of what I want to do.
Yeah, so I played college football. I knew actually my freshman year of high school, I knew I wanted to be involved in athletics at some point. I thought that was actually to be a high school football coach. Would love to go on back in Georgia. I mean, maybe later on in life, I would love to go back. My grandfather was a state championship high school football coach in the state of Georgia. So for me to kind of look up to him, and I do still have that dream one day later on in the future to go back and be a high school football coach. But I think clearly from my freshman or sophomore year of high school, I knew I wanted to do something in athletics. My cousin, Lee Miller, Tooley, she's incredible. She runs a lot of events for ESPN, the Battle for Atlantis, the basketball tournaments, the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, former Popeyes Bahamas Bowl. She's the managing director of that, and she runs her own sports travel firm, Complete Sports Management. So my sophomore, junior, senior year of colleges, I really got to work and intern with her. I saw a lot of the behind the scenes side of it. I have a business management marketing double major from Concordia University, and I really love the business of sports in that side of it, but also love playing. I played at Concordia as well. So just the behind the scenes, I really kind of fell in love with the process. I wake up tomorrow, I have no idea what tomorrow is going to look like, but just the constant figuring out problems and solutions to those problems really enticed me to kind of get where I have been today. So I really love that part of it. I still get my football fix every day. I mean, well, I'll stand about 70 yards behind the line of scrimmage and be like, hey, cover two, or, we should have probably brought that blitz from the left side instead of the right side. So I still get my football fix as well as my business fix, and getting to work with our athletic directors and just a ton of different people.
The Friday before you guys' first game, this is when this news is going to come out. You've mentioned excitement, but what does having the ACC logo do for you guys? I mean, the American Conference, in my opinion, has been something that has raised the profile of not only you guys, Tulane, a couple other programs as well, but what does this do for you guys and just the branding aspect, which is such a massive part of college football now?
Yeah, before I get into the ACC, I know we touched a little bit about on the American. The American's an incredible conference, and they're really good to us. And we want to be really good to them, and just really appreciate all those guys over at the American and our years there, and just my first couple of years here, and just what an incredible conference that was, and the schools and the cities that we got to go to. But going into the new Power Four, I mean, having that ACC logo, it's funny. We have a couple of our shirts that just have the ACC patch, and it means, I think it validates more than anything that you are a part of the new college football. I mean, the new Power Four conference, and you're part of that group that has a chance to go in and do some real damage here in the new college football playoff. And you're going to play schools like Florida State. I mean, Florida State's coming to Ford Stadium here. We play 10 Power Four schools here in our first year here. And it really raises the standard of everything that we do. And it validates who we are. It validates our past of where we were in the past, kind of going through the dry spell, and then where we want to go in the future. And I think more than anything, it validates what we want to do and where we want to go as a university. And the people of Dallas, and they really get to come out and see, schools like Florida State's coming to Ford Stadium. Schools like Boston College, Pitt are coming to Ford Stadium. We have BYU coming. I know they're not the part of the ACC. We're going on the road to Louisville And, we're going to go on the road to Stanford, and Cal's coming here as well. So every given Saturday, you're going to have a name brand. You're going to look across the field and, hey, it's Chief Osceola. Or, you're going to go into Louisville and that stadium's going to be packed and rocking. We get to go play at Duke. I mean, just really cool campuses in spots that our school in our nation or our university is going to get to go to. It's going to be awesome.
A lot of times, when schools make this jump, there's an expectation for a grace period. Hey, we're taking a jump up. I kind of get the feeling, and just looking at you guys' roster, looking at what you guys bring back, I mean, there's an expectation of, yeah, we're going to get our feet wet, but we want to compete, and we feel like we can be, a roster that top to bottom could be one of the better ones in the ACC. Talk about that. What's the messaging been from you guys, from Coach Lashley, and just maybe some of the veteran players of saying, hey, yes, we are the new kids on the block, but this is a conference where we think and we're going to go try to compete to play in December in Charlotte.
Yeah, we're going to compete every day. And our thing that after we won the American Conference Championship here and kind of coming back in is we want to raise our standards in everything that we do. And that's everywhere from my office and then our strength staff and really everything with going into the ACC. We know we do have to raise our standard. The great thing about that is, I mean, our university, our president, everyone from President Turner to AD Hart and Kurt Potcotter, our sport admin, we're all aligned. And we know that, yes, we're not just happy to be here in the ACC. We want to compete in the ACC. And our roster, we have some players that have played already in the ACC. And then more importantly, I think our coaching staff has been a part of the ACC and have won games in the ACC. Coach Lashley was obviously the offensive coordinator down at Miami, and he brought Coach Garen Justice and Kyle Cooper and Rob Likens were part of his staff. And then, we have Calvin Thibodeau, who was out at Oklahoma, and Maurice Crum, our linebacker coach, has been the coach in the SEC. And we bring in our director of recruiting, general manager, J.R. Sandlin, and he's been a part of Oklahoma. So our coaches and our staff knows what that looks like, and we're going to try and build our roster to excel and compete. But I'm going to give you a pretty coach answer, standard answer is we need to raise our expectations, raise our level, raise our work every day, and we'll see when we play our games how that turns out.
Man, you're just prepping for when you get that head coaching job back in Georgia somewhere. That's all you're doing. You're just putting in the work now. Wanted to ask you just a couple more here with Coach Lashley. And obviously you mentioned him, the expertise that he brings to the table, understanding, what it means to go on the road and play Louisville, what it means to play Florida State. How much is that just going to help? I mean, you hit on it a little bit right there, but just that familiarity fact of, these guys, not that they may do this anyways, they're not going to walk in, bright-eyed at the big lights. They've played in big atmospheres, but having that calming influence inside that locker room.
Yeah, they've done it, and they've done it already with some of the guys already on a roster. And, when you kind of go to places that you've already been before, it's calming. You go to a place for the first time, and it's, hey, maybe we do know, maybe we don't know. But to be already in that position, and to be there and do that, and with already some guys on the roster. I mean, you have De'Aaron King, he's our quarterback coach. He played for Coach Lashley in those games in the ACC conference. So to have those guys who've already been there and done that, and it is such a calming factor, and it's more reassuring that, hey, we are here, we're meant to be here, we belong here.
Last one for you here, man. I've hit on this on our show. It's one of the big reasons why I think the longevity of SMU is going to be a lasting presence in the ACC and in the future of football. But you talked about buy-in, whether that is monetary, whether it is fan buy-in. Obviously, jumping conference is going to help. I mean, jumping up into the ACC, that branding is going to help. But in your short time, just in Dallas, I mean, how impressed have you been with this donor base, this alumni base, the fan base, the student body of, hey, in a day and age of college football where you have to have buy-in, it seems like SMU hits that out of the park.
Yeah, I would say a different word for buy-in is alignment, and that's what we have here right now at SMU. I mean, I'll touch on it again. President Turner, I mean, he cares, and our board, our chairman board, David Miller, he really cares, and our athletic director, AD Hart. I mean, he's done an incredible job. So that alignment with the alignment of our coaching staff and our donor base and just the surrounding areas, and then more importantly, like our players, our former players, our former donors who have lived kind of in what we call like the glory days, the Mustang mania days, guys who have seen SMU at the highest highs and then some of the lowest lows, and now back climbing towards the highest highs. It's not as much buy-in as it is alignment, and those guys are ready to come in and make a difference. And yes, that is a big part of college football now and moving forward. But just to see the joy. I mean, when we won the American Athletic Conference, it was kind of funny. The people at Tulane had a big like security guard. If they won, they were going to rush the field, and then we ended up winning the game and turning around and watching our whole entire section come down and run down the field, and just seeing how happy some of our alumni base was, our former players, just so proud of the SMU and that blue and red and that red pony on the side of the helmet. Just the excitement that they had, and they just want to be a part of it, right? That's another aspect of being here at one of those Power Four conferences is it validates us, and just the excitement and the alignment. The energy that we have moving forward is incredible. So
you've joked about it. It's truly a cross country conference now. Just a fun one for you. Which venue are you excited to take in? Like, is there one that you have marked on the calendars? Like, this is going to be a really fun one to be a part of that atmosphere and experience it.
I mean, you could say I don't want to be the cop out answer, but I mean, growing up in the Southeast and getting to see just a ton of those schools going to kind of that side back home to that side of the country, playing at a school like Louisville. It's going to be our second ACC game, first ACC game on the road. That place is going to be packed. They've had a hell of a year. Getting to play there is going to be exciting, but also, a lot of these guys haven't been over on the West Coast, and then going to play a school like Stanford and a beautiful campus that I've actually got to get to a ton of times with my time at UC Davis and going to play at a prestigious school, and just how beautiful it is in Menlo, Atherton out there in Palo Alto at Stanford. It's going to be a great. And then to go back and play at Duke and see a lot of the friends from their time at Miami, Coach Lashley and a lot of our staff's time at Miami. So I wouldn't say there's one like spot that I'm looking forward to the most, just because every spot we get to go to is kind of new and exciting. I know our donors are really excited. I know our fans are really excited to go out and see all these new schools in different parts of the country that we haven't been able to go see. So
it's awesome stuff. Josh Nash, Senior Director of Football Operations. Josh, man, we appreciate the time. Like we said, this calendar's crazy. That could be a whole nother podcast episode of how do we fix the college football calendar. But man, appreciate you talking with us. And look, speaking a little bit behind the scenes, we talk with coaches, we talk with players, but I think it's awesome to kind of hear the business side and behind the scenes of what this kind of stuff looks like.
Yes, sir. Well, appreciate you having me on. Hopefully Braves get their fourth win tonight, and keep it rolling.
That's awesome. Josh Nash, Senior Director of Football Operations at SMU.